Welcome back to 7th Grade Mustache. On today's episode, we'll be speaking about overthought. There is a growing trend of analytics being used everywhere in our day-to-day lives. It is the incessant overthinking, overcalculating of every single part of human life. You see it most in sports. There's an article.
I agree. Yep.
There's an article from 2018 from the British newspaper called The Guardian, and its title is "Are Super Nerds Really Ruining U.S. Sports?" So for players, data unlocks new ways of being on the field of play and new ways of behaving. The Golden State Warriors are famously run more like a tech company than a conventional basketball franchise. Their commitment to technology, and without data, it's unlikely they would have seen the efficiencies of a three-point heavy game and ushered in the tactical revolution that defines modern basketball.
I agree completely.
Much has been lost in the process. Fun, spontaneity, individuality, and personality. The Warriors' data-driven model has upended old coaching methods in basketball and put a whole style of play out of business. Gone now are the cult of layup and the idea that the ball should be recycled through 2 or 3 players only. Instead, basketball has been remade as a sport of relentless passing, careful substitutions in defense, and spectacular looping shots from half court. Combine this with increasingly strict rules, and you have a league full of soft, crybaby players. I know you got something to say. Go ahead.
Look, their first run when Golden State first got out there and started doing this three-pointer shit, where Barkley even said nobody's going to be able to survive on a three like that. Because in the past we've seen it peter out, or we've seen people go cold. These guys don't go cold, but what they did was they used the analytics to put the game in a different direction. And with the three-pointer, the bottom line is, yeah, you're scoring points, but you're also more efficient. So being more efficient, your guys are fresher later in the season. Now, don't get me wrong, shooting that three can weigh on you. But I took 13 shots and got, 39 points. Or you take, 60-something shots just to get, So it was one of these things where it went in a different direction. And literally, they changed the game. So now that they changed the game and they're doing what they're doing, it looks like it should have always been that way. You got other teams copying the model right now. You got Houston Rockets doing the same thing. But when you first heard about it, like whatever. And another thing when it comes to the analytics, sometimes there's a such thing as useless analytics, and sometimes there's a such thing as valid analytics. Okay, you're analyzing this, and when are these results real? You know what I'm saying? Like literally, but they were.
Okay, but the shit is not exciting, dude. It's not. You can tell me that this popcorn is flavored with butter, but it tastes like margarine. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to give an example of this. Remember Mike and Mike in the Morning? When it first hit, you know what their concept was. They had Greenberg, who was an analytic guy, who was a super nerd, and then you had Golick, who was this dumb player. And then when the show takes off, Golick is damn near a genius. He's an intelligent guy.
My point is this, dude. This type of league doesn't leave room for sociopath animal players like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan.
Yes, it does.
No,
because
it doesn't.
Because their hard work will never, ever.
You weren't listening to anything I've read at the beginning here, because they've created this analytics-driven league where they'll take that guy out. He'll be on fire. They'll take him out. It's been done in other sports. Listen, watch this. NFL teams now pass the ball more now than before. Going into the current season, every NFL front office has at least one staffer, and often many more, primarily doing analytics work. But somewhere along the way, football ended up with an analytic backlash. See, it happened in football first.
No, it happened in baseball first.
No. It happened in football first. Listen.
I say baseball because they hit the
Just listen to what I have to say. It happened in football first because first it became this incessant rule breakdown or crackdown on creating more and more rules and slowing the game down. Now, college football has always been more exciting than the NFL because college football, these guys have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And so they're playing their hearts out. They're putting it all on the line. In the NFL, in the mid to late 90s, more and more rules being enacted, which made the game more cerebral, which made you focus more on points and how long a quarterback is in the game or how many hits that running back is taking. You start thinking more and more about this and create more rules and slowing the game down. The more you slowed the NFL down, the more it became boring. So that was the very beginning of analytics. So what you're calling analytics actually had a name given to it with the Boston Red Sox. And that movie Moneyball was about the beginning of analytics in baseball. But this trend happened in sports before it got to the in MLB, right? So, but hang on a second. I'm going to give you a perfect example of how this is ruining baseball. In Game 6 of the 2020 World Series, the Tampa Bay Rays were facing elimination. Rays starting pitcher Blake Snell was dominating the higher-powered Dodgers with ruthless efficiency. He struck out 5 of the first 6 batters he faced and was cruising, protecting a 1-0 lead, giving just 2 hits and striking out 9 batters in 5 innings. He had thrown just 73 pitches. At this point in the game, the Rays manager, Kevin Cash, came out of the dugout and pulled Snell out of the game. Why did he do that? This guy is smoking people from the pitcher's mound. Why are you taking him out? They weren't supposed to win this game, but they went on to lose that game because they lost the edge as soon as they took Snell out of the game.
He was hot.
Listen, and fans lost their fucking mind. And dude, I mean, justifiably so. But the thing is that the coach took them out because Analytics told him that, all right, it'd be a better idea to take this guy out of the game because in the long run, it'll look better. These super nerds that came up with this idea that we should pull this guy who's blazing hot out of the game. I'm like, dude, you any veteran baseball player, any veteran coach will tell you, keep his ass in the game. He's winning this game for us.
Look, that's a hot hand. The only reason I'm going to disagree with you is because baseball has always been about stats since the beginning.
No. You're conflating two things. Analytics and stats are not the same. And this is what we're talking about here.
Yes, hold it. You got to remember, baseball was America's pastime. So they had super records. These motherfuckers wasn't, like you said, they weren't
analytics are calculations, dude. You don't understand. Yeah. They're calculations. Yeah. It's not stats. It's everything. It's the big data of how you apply it to sports.
What they're doing right now is because one person, it worked for one team, they're trying it for every team. The shit's dumb as hell. I shouldn't say it's dumb. That shit's effective for some people. But the fact of the matter is, stop chasing the shit and play. You got to build your team what's appropriate for you. But sometimes the stats do work. Sometimes you catch like, okay, that makes some sense. I guess we never looked at it that way. But a lot of times this is just all it is a calculation. And you're treating people like commodities and numbers. And when the shit doesn't work, or when you got the biggest budget of baseball like the Mets and you still ain't won shit, it ain't worth it. I hate when they make a movie about those situations because all of a sudden that's the shit that everybody's doing now. Like, okay, because it's popular. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't even fucking work. And what you're doing, you're leaning on people who've never done it, which sometimes you need a different perspective. But like these niggas ain't even athletes. You know what I'm saying? You literally are ignoring the past, what worked. Or look, the whole thing about analytics is that's like a religion, motherfucker. Sometimes ain't shit there.
The problem with these analytics is that they have the possibility of taking the excitement and the fun out of everything.
They drain
it. Everybody knows that person that is an energy suck. They're an energy vampire, or they're always dour and they can take a good situation and turn it negative. The same can be applied, but you got to follow this train of thought. So these people that they're applying to do these cold calculations, they are mathematicians. These are people that are concerned with numbers. And when you turn everything into a number, you commodify it. Now, of course, these people that run these franchises, They're running businesses that have several different aspects to them. One of them is real estate. It's the park that a stadium or that ballpark is in. The next one is merchandise. They sell jerseys, they sell cups, they sell hats, they sell catcher's mitts, they sell basketballs, everything. All that, right?
They license the name out.
But here's the thing, though. This merchandising, that's how they make money when the games aren't playing. And when you have fans who, okay, let me back this up. When you have a team that treats their fans like customers, then what you'll wind up with are fans that'll leave, because if you frequent a business and they make changes you don't like, you just leave. But if you make the fan experience a more family or a cult experience or religious experience, then people will stay. That's why you see people in different states that are New Yorkers wearing New York Mets hats. Not Yankees. Listen, anybody can buy a Yankees hat. But if you see a person wearing a Mets hat,
they real.
You a New Yorker. Like, you like real baseball, because everybody knows the Yankees are for like for like phony people. You know what I'm saying? Or like the popular people, or like money people.
Anybody can buy Yankees.
The blue collar real baseball fans in New York are Mets fans. These teams have different revenue streams that they're focused on. And so once they saw they could use analytics to dial in not just the ratio or the predictability of winning games, but how they can make more money. Because at the end of the day, this is all a money thing. And
you own a franchise.
Don't be the trick that goes to the prostitute and falls in love. You know what I'm saying?
I'm about to say.
So
the stripper tells you their real name.
Yeah, dog. Like, no. These things, these analytics, this is all about big data. This is all about a method of predictability. And what's handcuffed to predictability? Control. They go hand in hand. Predictability and control are right there, hand in glove. Because if you can predict something, I got control over it once I use that to my advantage.
Question. So what do you think about the Yankees and the Patriots? You know, they won a shitload of championships. And Steinbrenner, as an owner, he used analytics, but he was still a baseball guy first. Same thing with Robert Kraft. He Belichick, best coach of all time. So analytics matter, but you still can't beat those guys, or they still have the ability. So how about this? How do you feel about Steinbrenner, before he died as an owner? What you think about that guy?
I don't give a shit about none of those old white motherfuckers. Let me tell you something, man.
I meant being a winner.
Hey, listen to me, man. Listen to me.
They had a balance between analytics and real sports and real baseball. That's what I was referring to.
Listen,
I don't care about that. I don't care about that nigga either. He's a billionaire.
My point is this, dude. These roads lead to something. These roads lead to, listen, the rails are greased, okay? And by giving the masses the opiates that they want, you control them. So
100%.
if you manipulate these sports leagues and control how it's played, you remove flamboyant personalities. You get everybody. I don't know about that part,
but don't forget about the numbers.
Yes, you do. Yes,
you do. No. I'm saying the fantasy football. Don't forget about that. That saved them. Football was for gamblers.
Hey,
and now you got.
Can we stop with the fucking sports cosplay? Can we fucking stop with that stupid ass, ridiculous shit? Hey, let's just stop with the fucking fantasy football. Let's just stop with that dumb ass shit.
Look, all that did was
it create a rabbit hole for people to crawl down into and hide, so they don't have to face the big issues of the world. Okay?
Look,
because hold on. All this is a deviation. All it's doing is making people focus more on something that takes your attention away from the real shit that's going on in the world.
But that's what it's always been for. It's a gladiator sport. But the thing is, listen. The fantasy football is just doubling down on sticking your head in the sand. Look, it's the combination.
How many people do you know that commit a lot of time to that? It becomes an extra fucking hobby.
Like I said, it gathered so much new viewership for the NFL because you
How
were
many
able.
revolutionaries do you know that
Oh
also
shit!
play fantasy football? Zero.
Look, they did away with the revolutionaries a while back. Jim Brown just died, my nigga. Come on. And if you ever get a chance, watch him on Tony Brown's Journal. He said, He said the OJs and Dr. J's, they're nice people. They're nice guys, but they'll never liberate our people. So yeah. So when you have a
Okay, stop
revolutionary,
right there. What did you just say? What did you just say
that's
right
a
there?
quote. Hold it. That is a quote from. I'm watching it when Tony Brown was interviewing Jim Brown on the Tony Brown. He said that I've been for the liberation of my people this entire time. He said I have no problem with the OJs and Dr. J's. They're nice guys. They're nice people, but they ain't for the
But
liberation.
listen, he's never been a go along to get along type of dude. Rest in peace to Jim
Period.
Brown. He passed away this last month. People gotta understand like who Jim Brown was in the '60s when he was playing football, just mowing over dudes. This guy, he was Bo Jackson before Bo Jackson. Like as far as
Like
like
Pryor
this,
said, they was a
like big
blocker for the team.
explosiveness, but off the field, yeah, fuck his sports career. This guy would walk through the ghettos of Chicago
He was
with
a sad
Muhammad
guy.
Ali, walking
Yeah.
up to kids, shaking their hands, walking up to people, other dudes, shaking their hands, letting them know, like, hey, I'm still
What
one
do
of
you
you. I might have
need?
made a bunch of fucking money, but I'm still a real dude.
Yeah, what y'all
And,
need? And he would talk about those issues for real, not to pacify,
right.
to fix. But no, but this goes back to what you were just saying. That you don't you everybody's worried about their marketing, their image. So no disrespect. This is the same complaint we always had about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali didn't care about the money. He made it. The money didn't make him. But he also talked about your issues and this, that, and other. Jim Browns.
Listen.
Bill Russells.
Muhammad Ali was the people's champ. He was the
Period.
people's champ in the way that Michael Jordan was not. People love Michael Jordan. Don't get it wrong. But
Yeah.
Michael Jordan had a superficial love of the people. His love of the people was
He
not
saw
deep.
them as a number, like you said. And all you are is a number. You're just a commodity, to him.
No.
It's not the
I'm
same.
talking about the way people saw him. They're like, yeah,
No,
he's
I'm
a
saying,
dope
wait,
athlete, but
yeah.
he has nothing to say.
Look, and like I said, the reason my brother was bringing up Jim Brown away is because Jim, he lost money because of who he was. He was like, look, nope, I don't care about that. I care about this. I care about my people. But this goes back to the whole merging of nerds. That when you have these artificial sports like fantasy football that makes people who don't do shit feel like they're doing shit, you kill off any revolutionary because now the traits that made you dope or tough or an individual or accelerate, those traits are negated. Social media is killing revolutionaries. Now, I've learned a lot from social media because somebody will post some shit that I didn't know and I go look it up. That's just how we are. Like, hey, I'll call my brother. I'm like, Roscoe, I just sent you an article. Hey, Roscoe, because we grew up in a time where this shit meant something. And then, but everybody else, they care about the likes. They care about the adoration. And while you're doing that, you're dulling your senses. You're
Listen, it's possible to talk your way out some pussy.
easily.
100%. Listen, what I'm saying is not because you're trying to, but because you're talking too much. You know what I'm saying? Because, listen, my seafood used to tell me, he said, talking doesn't cook the rice. Meaning, get your ass in there and cook the rice. Do the work. Train. Do what you need to do.
Like
Don't fucking talk to me about what you want to do and what you want to be. Fucking do it.
Look, we live in a society where people avoid hard work at all costs. And like I said, we all love the phrase work hard, not smart, or work smart, not hard. But the thing is, they go together. Working smart means developing a way to be efficient. Working hard, you sometimes you cannot avoid hard work. Hard work is part of it. You've got to put that in, put in the time and the miles and sleep in the car.
Right.
And
But here's the thing, though. Without hard work, without life experience,
no results.
What happens is you develop a crisis of confidence. Meaning, a crisis of confidence, meaning that
you
you don't have the know-how to get this shit done. you don't have the experience, you don't have the cellular memory that says, dude, I can ride that bicycle. I can climb that tree. I can jump off of that house and be okay. I can do all this shit because I've done it. My body has recorded it.
We knew our limits, and we always pushed them. We jumped. I remember getting stuck on the roof of the school, man, and we like, we got to get down, jump. like we were. I remember me and the other homeboy. We wanted to be the fall guy. Remember the TV show, the Stuntman?
Yes.
I know you do. I'm talking about for the audience. And so you always wanted. We grew up pushing our limits. We grew up making new limits. Then this society is just the opposite. They're pushing limits on video games. And look, I do play video games, but what I'm saying is you have people who really believe that they did something there, that accomplishment was a real accomplishment. They have no vitamin D. They didn't go outside and get no sunlight. You know what I'm saying? We were also
changing a tire. Changing a tire, dude. Like,
dude!
Yo. And it's crazy because, like, people ride around in their vehicles all the time. And, they don't think about, well, if something goes wrong, then I got to do this. Being capable, having the know-how to walk into a situation and be like, all right, we got to do this here. Hand me that and just fucking do it.
Hey, so you know me. Like, sometimes I got a bug-out bag, like, in the trunk of my car. Like, I go through cars a lot. So there's certain things I have an extra jacket, underwear, change of clothes, some tools. I have in my trunk because I don't know if that shit's gonna stop. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I watched this comedy concert when I was a little boy. It's called Bill Cosby Himself. And this motherfucker said some shit in there that kind of stuck with me for a long time. He said, always have a fresh pair of underwear.
Yes.
And I was like, And, he explained, something might happen and you need some fresh drawers. But that fresh pair of underwear could be anything. That fresh pair of underwear could be a fresh pair of shoes. If you know you're going to go do something that's going to tear up your shoes, get your dirty, run through the woods shoes and put those on and have your nice kicks in the trunk and have an extra pair of pants so that when you go do what you got to do, you can switch into the nice pair of pants and the good shoes. And it's almost like you just took that skin off of your body like a snake would. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, look. Bill is also talking about getting the shit scared out you. Like, literally, people lived in a society where that could happen, where you could actually go out and something could go down where there's a robbery or the car goes off the road. You shit yourself, but you still got to go to work. He didn't say take a sick day. He's like, oh, fuck it, change the drawers and keep it moving.
You might have used up all your sick days.
Yes. You can't call in no more. Back then, motherfucker fire you. You missed 2 days in a year, they would fire your black ass.
Okay, you know what instilled this in me? Okay, I'm gonna tell you.
Tough motherfucker.
No, it wasn't even that, dude. Ninjutsu.
Oh yeah.
If you look at the symbol of ninjutsu, the nin symbol, it means to attack the heart. It means one guy against all odds attacking at the heart of a problem. So that shows you that you have to be self-sufficient, a one-man army, able to go in and wreck fucking shop and get the fuck out of there. I do that all the time with fucking work. You know what I'm saying? But then I also do that in other parts of my life. And having the tools that you need to get the job done could be anything. It could be
having
something.
The right tool is so much efficiency.
It saves so much time and allows you to get to the next part of your itinerary. So it's like, I got my tools, do what I got to do. Next thing on my itinerary is I got to go here and do this. Those tools could be anything. But hold on a second. So long as you have the tools that you need to get the job done, fucking have them with you, man. Put that shit in your fucking vehicle, carry it on your person so that you can go and do what you need to do. Man, listen.
You ain't got to call nobody.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, there's there's times where, like, sometimes that tool is food. Sometimes packing my lunch or packing food or having, like, snacks that I bring with me so I'm not going and buying bullshit at a gas station.
No, so you ain't stopping in the middle of nowhere.
Dude, I don't eat at gas stations. I'll stop at a grocery store and buy some shit. You know what I'm saying? I buy a couple of things that I know is going to last me for like a day or 2 days, especially when I'm traveling. I'll have enough food, you know what I'm saying? Like dry food, you know what I mean? That I can like take to my hotel room or I can carry in that vehicle so that I can keep going. I don't have to stop, because when I have to stop, that's 15 minutes right there. That's 15 minutes. I've stopped. I pulled over to the side of the road. I had to go into the store. I got to find it. Excuse me. Can you tell me what this is? I don't have to do none of that shit. I can just go and carry on, get what I need to get done. And then when I have downtime, when I can chill or go see a movie in another city, I'll go do that shit. But as far as like keeping everything on my itinerary in line and keeping it, within reach and not deviating from that, that allows me to be more effective.
Look, we're talking about doing stuff, is what we're saying.
What we're talking about is not overthinking shit.
No, 100. What I was
saying and doing shit.
So me and you, we grew up together. So I got a homeboy that when he hangs out with me, he says, I need to hang out with you more. I said, why? He said, whenever we hang out, we get shit done. Like he said, normally I might get 1 or 2 things done in a day. When I'm with you,
5.
I get 6, 7, at least. And then he's asking, like, how do you do that? I'm like, because I have
time management.
I have a schedule in my head that I don't, and I don't. I'm not a snob with 45 minutes here, 45 minutes there. But no, I completely know. So Friday we got a lot of shit done. Like literally, picked up a car, dropped another car off, got it worked on. Went to the DMV, got this done. Picked up my daughter, bought her a car. Just literally did like 7, 8 things. But me and you have been doing that our whole lives. Like literally, even when we
my
were playing.
First job was a paper route, and that taught me how to be on time and how to work within a schedule and how to meet goals and all these things, right? And it taught me to interact with the public, because I'm bringing something, I'm providing a service, dropping off this thing to a person's house every day. They're used to me doing this, and hello, how you doing? All that shit. You know what I mean? I wasn't one of these kids who like went door to door as some Jehovah's Witness, knocking on motherfuckers' door, begging them to be part of their cult. No, like I delivered a newspaper, something that they paid for. So I'm like, all right, cool, here you go. In exchange, I got a paycheck every 2 weeks, and I made money. And with this money, I became a consumer very early, but I also realized at that point,
it was a ticket. There's opportunity.
I realized that I was not going to work for somebody the rest of my life. I understood the value of $1 early. Especially like, if you want to buy ninja swords and fucking weapons and shit as a little boy, you need money to do that shit.
Look, but the thing is that we manifested what was in our minds. Look, the
part right there.
The point we're talking about is that there's a fine line in what's being done now is you're convincing people that they're doing something. They're convinced that their inactivity is an activity. And I had an argument with one of our homeboys back in the day when he was going through some mental shit. I said, stop pretending like you thinking of something is you doing something.
Hey, listen. This is what I tell people. Get out of the rocking chair. The rocking chair will give you something to do with nowhere to go.
Look, Facebook makes you think you accomplished shit and you ain't did a goddamn thing. You could be on Facebook for 6 hours, and all of a sudden you look up at the day and it's going, you've wasted the day. Like, and you have shit to do, and you should have called somebody, but you can't call them now because it's 6 o'clock in the evening, and oh shit, business hours is over.
You know what I do? Each date I'm like, what can I make? What can I create?
That wasn't there before.
That wasn't there before. And if I can't create something, what can I go through to find things to inspire me? So, okay. So I have days. I split days up where I create, and I edit, and then I search. And it's like this wheel. These 3 things that are on this wheel, and it goes around and around. And so when I'm searching, I'm looking for things that will inspire me to execute these ideas that I have in my head, because the ideas are coming all the time. Do yourself a favor and write them shits down. Make a note of it. It could be a voice note. It can be a post-it note. Write it down. It could be something on your desktop computer, on your screen. Like fucking make a note of it, because when you go back and you revisit that, you're like,
dude,
I
got a lot of shit done.
Yeah. One time, dude. One time. The first time I ate psychedelic mushrooms, I was with my girlfriend I was dating at the time. We did it together. and I have my book of songs that I've written. And, you know, I grew up around real MCs. So, like, I developed a talent for, like, writing lyrics and shit. But I had my perspective. So when I ate these mushrooms, I went back and I looked at it and I was like, damn, this shit's all right. Like, I looked at it from a fresh perspective.
From a different, almost like a different person. Look,
yes.
Hey, so like me and you talk all the time. I'll come up with ideas, and sometimes I just tell myself, "Look, you need to work on this," and I'll force myself to type up some shit, work on it, whatever, develop names.
Sometimes you have to give yourself commands. Sit down.
Yeah, you have to
sit down.
So,
or turn the computer
like
on.
A year later, you'll look at that shit like you'll open that file on the computer because you'll like, you know what, I need to revisit this, and you see like, God damn, I got a lot of work done. Damn, I wrote 2 scripts.
Check this out. As a little kid, I learned this martial arts technique, and it's a technique of awareness. And what I would do is I would lay in my bed, and I would reach out and try and hear as far from my house as I could, outside of my house. And then I would close the bubble. I would shrink the bubble, and I would then hear things that were like on my street. I would hear things that were next door. I could hear the sound of the air conditioner outside. I could hear the sound of the frying pan on the stove in the kitchen. I could hear the sound of somebody running up and down the stairs or opening the front door. I could hear my room. I could hear the clock on the wall. I shrunk it down all the way inside my body. And then it went further inside and then expanded back out. That is a meditation in awareness and observation. So when I'm in either of these states, whether I'm creating, whether I am searching, or whether I'm editing, each one of those, I'm paying attention to what's going on around me. Sometimes I use stimuli. Like when I'm creating, I'll put on a song that puts me, so, okay, if I need to get to a certain state of mind, if I'm reaching for something,
Yep.
I'll put music on, or I'll put on a movie or some imagery that has colors in it that puts me into that vector, into that tube. And then I'll create this vibe, this cloud that then I can sit in, and I'm playing that note over and over and over, but I'm looking around in this landscape. What's up?
Anybody ever tell you that you listening to the wrong music? Like, I'll give an example. So, like, you know, I got hearings and stuff at work. You know what I do, and I'll listen to like trap music. I'll listen to like some or like I'll listen to like some David Banner, like some Get Like Me. I'll listen to something like that. So when I get there, I'm hyped. Like I'm calm physically at my appearance, but in my mind, like, I just accomplished some shit. Or like I would work out and I would listen to like Lenny Wilkins. And people are like, how can you listen to some slow music? I'm like, because it's a 14-minute song. Like, when you listen to that song, you fall off of that song. You know, you tumble into that song, and next thing you know, you've done 4 or 5 sets because the song is so long, and you like, this dude, the clock on the wall, and I go to her, see her driveway, the car is there, you know, and there's certain things that you can get lost in.
Right.
And you turn it. You become autonomous. You become a computer. You become a machine because I'm accomplishing some shit, and I'm not. And time doesn't mean anything to me. You know what I'm saying? And so there are certain things that there are certain things that it's not a distraction. That's not the right word. There's certain
no. Detachment.
Yes, it sends me either inward or outward. You know what I'm saying?
So like, okay, a lot of people like to smoke weed and go lift weights, and this is the reason why. I'll tell you why they do that. The reason why they do is because it takes your mind off of the pain, and it takes your mind off of it removes that part of your mind that doesn't want to do it. And
yes,
but see, I can get there without smoking weed. So because exercise is not something that I run from, I can go and I can work out, and I can take my mind out of, okay, now I got all this lactic acid building up. It's starting to hurt. I can take my mind out of that, and I can go a little bit further. When I was a little kid, there's this character in this cartoon, in this comic book. His name is Destro. And Destro had a high threshold for pain because he was sitting in his dentist chair one time and he didn't get Novocaine because he was paranoid that somebody was going to knock him out or like try and drug him and like get information from him or kill him. And so because of that, Destro learned how to get his pain tolerance high so he can be in these situations where he's being operated on or like at the dentist, and so he can still be aware and lucid and still handle the situation. When people smoke cannabis and work out, it allows you to get into the flow state faster than if you were to do it without that experience, right? Or without the experience of reaching the flow state. The flow state, once you get there, the mind and body, you have the glow. Your mind, body, and soul will be one. It takes hard work. It's a way of life. You know what I'm saying? But just like the song says, but once you reach that flow state, you're there. And that's when magic happens. So bringing it full circle back to what I was saying about the whole analytics is that it takes the magic out of a lot of stuff. And now if you take this even further and you commoditize analytics with digital photography, I've been traveling a lot and I've been taking pictures of some cool stuff, and I've been kicking myself because I didn't bring my analog 35 millimeter camera with me, because when I shoot stuff on film, it looks like the way the cones in my eyes see these colors. And there were some clouds that I took pictures of and they looked good, but they didn't have the color range that my eye sees. And I know damn well this analog medium that will store that image in exposed silver grains that float in gelatin in color dye layers would create a reproduction of what I saw. Dude, I was in Myrtle Beach 3 weeks ago for work, and I was driving, like each day after work I would go to the beach. And one day I was driving back, man, and I pulled over on the side of the highway. This cloud was, I'll send it to you, it was bananas. It was crazy. It was crazy beautiful.
Dude, and I just seen 2 days ago.
Dude, and like when I see that, I'm like, Allahu Akbar, God is great. Because like I see, a person can look at that and be like, oh, those the colors and the gaseous atmosphere, and I'm like, God is great. You know what I'm saying? I just give it up, man. Like, hey, man, like, thank you for allowing me to see this. Thank you for gracing me with this beauty. I'm grateful. I have nothing but gratitude for being there at that moment to experience that, because I could have been around the corner, you know what I'm saying? Not even looking at that shit. But I was there at that moment and I was blown away by the beauty.
When you see it, like for me, I just saw a cloud. It looked like Jar Jar Binks on a speeder. You know what I'm saying? It was one of these things where you instantly see it. I'm like, hey, that's what it looks like to me.
That cloud would have pissed me off.
or you see it, and as you drive or you walk, you go to a different angle, it turns into something else immediately. I remember when somebody was talking about the whole photography thing. It's photography art. And old boy was breaking it down. He said, look, and he took a picture of clouds. He said, what do you see? And he asked somebody else, what do you see? Like, right there. You all see something different in those clouds. Interpretation is what art is about. So yes, photography is art completely. But it's one of these things that people don't understand that it's art, because they think it's cold. You think all you're doing is replicating what's there. Yeah, but what's there is so beautiful or so just inspiring, and people don't understand that. And I remember when they were talking to Bob Marley. I always use this analogy when he's talking about money. And money is nothing but numbers. And if you need numbers to be happy, you'll never be happy, because numbers are infinite. Because this shit that you desire will go on forever, and you'll never ever catch it. You'll never ever get to the end of this if you're dealing with something that's infinite. And I think that's what people don't understand, is that you put you're stacking your happiness on something that is going to go on forever. But when truth is, your happiness should be something more tangible. And I shouldn't say tangible, something more you. You know what I'm saying? Like your children, they're you. Your wife is you. Your family is you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think the reason for that, people don't know who they are, or worse, they do know who they are. Like Jay-Z, like, hey, dude, you, everybody says you're the greatest, and you agree, but you really haven't done anything great. That's another word. So we all agree on one thing: Ali is the greatest. Mike Tyson might be the best, or this guy might be this, but the greatest, hands down, is Ali because of his accomplishments, his connection to the crowd. That makes you the greatest. Being the best and being the greatest ain't the same thing, my nigga. And that is, I know those words are nuanced, but he's the greatest. You can't. Even white folks who hated him back then, they love him now. What do you do when somebody wanted to lynch you? Now they love you. Now they're wearing your T-shirt. That is the greatest. There's a difference. That person, when you hear the word transcend, that person, everybody at every corner of this world, you got motherfucking Eskimos, you got niggas in Siberia, you got motherfucking everywhere knows Muhammad Ali. That makes you that. It's not about the fame. It's about how that person touched you individually. He was able to touch people. That makes you the greatest. And so like I said, this number thing. It's sterile. It's I don't know how to describe it, but it sucks the soul right out of it, like my brother was telling y'all. And that's the kind of stuff you talk about when you talk about somebody like Ali who touched everybody. Or I got this picture on my Facebook of Ali and Pele, and I'm like, either those who know, and if you don't know, you won't get that picture. That picture are two gods shaking hands. Do you understand? Like, again, a picture as art. That picture is open to so much interpretation. These are the two best that ever lived at two different things that other people aspire to. Like you always hear these young kids talk about Messier and all these different soccer players, but they don't understand. Nobody ever says they're the greatest or the best soccer player because Pele already existed. Pele already died. Pele was fucking bitches and doing shit that you guys could only dream of. So even right now to this day, Pele's the greatest. You can't quantitate that. You can't put a number to that.
So the fourth, here's a quote from Klaus Schwab. The fourth industrial revolution is a new chapter in human development driven by the increasing availability and interaction of a set of extraordinary technologies building on three previous technological revolutions. The world's most innovative companies, governments, civil society organizations are combining new technologies in new products and services and processes that are reshaping existing ways of delivering value. The fourth industrial revolution is a way of putting an inherent value on every blade of grass, every tree, every shrub, waterfall, putting zeros and ones to all of that, making it binary and attaching value to these things. That's why analytics is the handgun of the fourth industrial revolution, because sure, handguns can protect, but they can also murder. And this tool is in line with artificial intelligence, because that's how Chat GPT works, is with analytics and calculations, drawing from everything that is looked up on internet databases, and then it delivers to you and lies to you with confidence. And everybody's telling you like, oh, this is it. I'm like, well, okay, but
it's not God. It's not a definite. These are just big ass motherfucking maybes, my nigga. And people, look, there's an article right now with Elon Musk saying that you got to get that neural implant just to compete with the artificial AI. How about this? Why don't you eat that lion's mane mushroom? It makes your habitat. I'm sorry, what you said, bro?
So this is the thing that I've always thought about. I always thought about the X-Men when it comes to this shit.
Yeah,
and how
come on.
Everybody wants to talk about, oh, you got to put a chip in your head. Okay, but what about if we, starting right now, had people work on the latent abilities of the human consciousness?
Oh my God. Dude, there's so, when Kanye said it because he's a douchebag, but there are whole motherfuckers over there in Nigeria talking about what we were able to do and that we existed 100,000 years before Adam, and they're talking about their abilities. Same thing in India. Before the white man got there, they were levitating and lifting heavy shit with their mind. And so if we went back to the old ways, we would surpass these computers easily. The reason I brought up lion's mane, it makes you more intelligent. If you consume lion's mane mushrooms,
it creates new neural pathways in the brain.
It makes your hippocampus grow. I'm sorry, please forgive me. And you can increase the human experience without mechanical intervention. Do you understand that? There's also, I got to be careful because something I want to talk about. But the whole Jamie Foxx debacle. Have you looked into that?
Listen, the neural lace is the laziest way to integrate yourself into a new state of being. Like, it's not the answer. Like, if you want the answer, you need to eat nootropics, foods that increase neural pathway growth and make you smarter, and also work on how you can make yourself into a better quantum computer that you already are.
Look, here's the thing nobody wants to deal with. If you're taking a shower, if you take 30 seconds and you turn the cold water on for 30, 40 seconds, you make new neural pathways grow also. The other thing, if twice a week, an hour in a fucking sauna, you increase your testosterone. If you fast, you heal yourself. If you fast for 3 to 4 days, 10 days, you heal yourself. Look, the bottom line is, when you put your body through extremes, your body improves. When you put your mind through extremes, you grow. We were designed for harsh times and to elevate. Example, this is crazy. If you want to make yourself healthier, they used to do this in California. Right before harvest, they would like nail nails and hit trees, like the orange tree. They would damage the orange tree. Why would they do that? We talked about it in past podcasts. Because they send those antibodies, whatever you want to call it, to heal that. Those go into the fruit that you consume. So you can consume like healthy super fruit that makes you healthier, because whenever you get put through something, you come out stronger. But we live in a society now where we covered our convenience so much, it was easy so much that we literally are making ourselves dumb to the point where we need computers to tell us how to think. A computer, Chat GPT, what's going to happen 65 years from now? It doesn't motherfucking know. But whatever it says, you latch onto like it's a new religion, like it's God's dingling, dick hair or some shit. Cut that shit the fuck out. It doesn't matter what happens in the future if you're not right. If you can't take care of your family, if you ain't able to defend yourself, if you don't have the mental faculties. Look, there's shit out there that will make you smarter as fuck. And instead of wanting to be smarter, we want to be plugged into.
So you brought the Jamie Foxx thing. What's your take on that?
The take is that stuff keeps coming out, and the reason it's coming out in weird ways is because this guy broke it down. I was watching Comedy Hype, and he explained that basically Jamie was forced to do something he didn't want to do. And he said Hollywood is increasingly liberal, and you can't speak out against certain things. And for this movie, he was forced to take some medicine he didn't want to take, and it had an adverse effect, and they believe that's why he blood clotted out. Like, we've talked about it.
Okay, but they said like he's paralyzed and he's blind.
Roscoe, that's a stroke. Blood clots cause strokes. What causes blood clots?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah, and so
the thing that has gotten us removed from YouTube within the last week and a half, episode number 171 was taken down, and it was called a 24 karat gold treehouse, and we didn't have anything in that episode that would trigger this medical misinformation, wet blanket they throw on everything. But anyway, so you're saying that because of he took certain things, he had to. Wow.
Yeah, it was a requirement to be on that set. And this guy is a white guy. It sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He's a manager for important people. And he was breaking it down. And that's why you heard Cameron Diaz come out and say stuff like, hey.
What did she say?
She said her friend was poisoned, kind of thing.
What outlet did she use for that to say that?
I think she was. I don't know. I want to say social media. I think she literally came out and said it. Look it up because I don't want to exaggerate. I hate to exaggerate when I don't have the stuff in front of me. But she was very upset, and she said she essentially alluded to. And you got all these black people with their podcasts saying that he was poisoned, but she was being aloof. She was because she knows she can't say what it was because you'll get canceled or you'll fuck around and get kicked off the set or you won't be allowed to make money because she ain't did a movie like in 7-8 years. So you got to be really cautious of how you word these things now. And that right there is so un-American. I don't know how to deal with it sometimes. I know that's I know it's really tough as a black man to say that something's un-American because, lynching was American too, but censorship is something I'm not accustomed to.
Well, here's the problem. You are from your parents, but once you're a grown-ass, person, you can say, pretty much what you want within reason.
So you got to respect your parents. Like, Ma, you lied. I got my ass beat. I'm sorry, Ma, you were telling a story. It's respect. But that's because she or he or they are preparing you for the rest of the world and the things that you'll encounter. But this I don't have to respect. I don't have to respect society. I don't have to respect the government. I don't have to respect any of that shit. But I digress.
The problem is that we grew up with universal truths. And,
yes, this is what it is.
And now people are rewriting reality as we see it and telling you that the sky is indeed not blue and that's a dome up there. And this dumbass shit like that. Like, man, will you stop? Just stop with the bullshit. And it's on both sides. It's crazy because it's not just the social media platforms that are doing it, because what's crazy is that you can, in to the United States government, you can still say pretty much what the fuck you want to, within the bounds of the Constitution. You still can, actually. Now, it's the outlets that people choose to use which are censoring you.
And if you don't own that outlet, you ain't got no say so in the matter. If you don't, unless it belongs to you, unless you put that sign in your front yard, shit. You're beholden to somebody else.
Right. So what do you do when people, when people tell a bald ass lie? And the crazy part about it is everybody around you is just going along to get along. And they're not doing anything to back you up or just like give any credence to the fact that these people that are lying to you and, oh, okay, so I see when the next pandemic happens, you're going to be that same person all over again. You'll be that same person that bow down and bend the knee to master. You're going to do the same thing when this happens again, But it's good. It's good because it exposes weak ass people, and people who can be bribed. People who can be bought.
Because it shows you that there's a difference between reality and these analytics. They pencil whipped everybody in this country with analytics. They pencil whipped the world with analytics. They were telling you that, man, they got bodies stacking up in New York. Can you believe that? And then, of course, you go, fuck New York. No shit, goddamn, for real.
Right, but see, okay. But then you talk about like all these riots that are happening. And with close camera angles, you can hide a lot of shit. It's like, for example, like when they say, oh, there's riots going on in Portland. And then you talk to people there and they'll be like, man, that was one park that was like the size of a half of an acre. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, yeah, but if you can easily dramatize it. As a filmmaker, I have learned to make things look way bigger than it really is. You know what I mean? You can shoot something in a parking lot and be like, this is a boarded aircraft carrier. And you can hide that shit with like with special effects and angles and shit. And nobody will know. But this smoke and mirrors has been going on and on and on and on. And it's controlled people's perceptions. But I mean, listen, this whole Jamie Foxx thing, I didn't know what the fuck was going on with him because they kept it so hush hush. And I'm like, wow, they're really good at keeping this under wraps.
Something happened. We know something happened, but we don't know what.
Yeah. I don't know. Your connection's starting to sound shitty. What are you doing?
I'm sitting right here talking to you. I ain't move.
Okay. It's like you're eating the phone. But yeah, man, it's, the other thing with analytics is that like you begin to overthink everything because you're told you should overthink everything. Instead of going with your instincts, instead of going with the voice of your consciousness that's telling you, no, that isn't the way. Don't go with that. I mean, dude, it's everywhere. It's in everything. I mean, it's gotten so bad, like people that count cards in casinos, once they find out about that person, they're getting the fuck up out of there because that motherfucker's he's going to clean the house out.
Hey, you know, them Korean dudes, like, there's a whole family, they go on like on a tour. They'll be in Council Bluffs, then they'll be in like Sioux City. Since they got kicked out of Vegas, they go to the little casinos now and clean up.
Oh, they spotted them there?
Yeah, so they just go to someplace.
How'd you hear about it? Was it on the news?
There's a documentary on HBO. My homeboy told me about it. Like, they literally were in Council Bluffs in the documentary.
Damn. So now they got like an APB out of them casinos and shit.
Look, like I said, what we're telling you is that analytics sometimes are not real, and you focus on the wrong shit, and it distracts you from your real enemy or your real goal.
Well, they're real, but I feel that they're just another form of OCD. Like they're the most high dollar form of OCD. Pretty much. OCD, yeah, for real. Because, like, dude, like that's OCD spectrum to its fullest right there. And then, okay, then you have these people that are on the spectrum, that are working at these tech companies, that are making decisions for you and how you should live your lives. And then they become these respected tech leaders, and they start having lunch with these World Economic Forum guys and the United Nations. And then it becomes, all right, well, these people who are oddballs, who want the rest of the world to bend a knee to live like the way that they do. Because this whole thing works because we're an amalgam of different kinds of people with different personalities. And if you have everybody behaving like they're on the spectrum, well, man, that's a totalitarian state.
What complicates that, if everybody is autistic, that becomes the norm. And all of a sudden you have people that can't communicate, like on purpose. They're putting these chemicals out there to make it hard for you to communicate, for you to relate to each other. Because once you do that, then there's no way to unite. We all become individuals who are easily manipulated as a herd of sheep. But what made us strong was our connection, was our hard work, was our work ethic, was the fact that we respected everybody equally. You respected Muhammad Ali, but you also respected the janitor. That's been erased. That's been eliminated because of these different things.
Yeah. But then, like, in this situation, how do you get the outliers? How do you get the genetic mutants? How do you get, the X-Men? Because, the crazy part about it is the X-Men are already out there. And
period.
Every once in a while, you might see these people. The crazy thing about it is you might be one of the X-Men. You just haven't awakened those potentials yet. Because they want to tell you that you have to get a chip and you got to put it in your head so you can deal with these robots. Yeah, but there's simple-ass hacks that you can use as a human being to completely shut those robots down. Only problem is there is a crisis of confidence. And people are being gaslit into thinking that you don't have powers.
You've been gaslit just to think that the robot is better, that the computer is better than you. The computer knows more than you know. The computer is connected to a lot of different databases, but it's not smarter than you as an individual. No, that's not the case. I remember we had talked about that genetic mutation that makes your bones as hard as a grizzly bear. Some guy, some woman, someplace, but it was in a bunch of car accidents, and the bones wouldn't break, and they check them. They got like some kind of genetic marker where the bone is as dense as a grizzly bear bone. It's crazy. Yeah, we're
That's some
talking about
Wolverine shit.
Yeah, this is real shit. This is not fiction. This is science fact. And so that lets you know that there are things that we can do to make ourselves better. There are things that we can do to surpass
So then
artificial.
there may even be some type of mental meditation you can put yourself into to create some type of almost placebo effect that awakens that gene, to awakens that ability to then cause you to create a hyper amount of white blood cells in your bone marrow to make your bones stronger. Check this shit out. Check this out. I got a hack for that shit. This is going to blow you away. So this martial arts meditation that I practice is called Iron Shirt Qigong. And there's a part of that called bone marrow Qigong. And with bone marrow Qigong, there's this method where you get it looks like a whisk, and you're tapping your arms in your legs, different like femur bones and all this shit, and you're causing a vibration to resonate throughout the bones, and that vibration jumpstarts production of white blood cells. And so people notice after weeks of doing this that their limbs become heavier and their bones become denser. Just something to think about. So, yeah. So while everybody is tripping on, the robots are going to kill us. No, they ain't. If you act like a sheep, they will. But if you turn yourself into a thundercat, you'll be just fine.
Look, what they're doing, they're looking to the future and they're scared of the unknown, but they're not looking to the past for the known. There's shit in the past that we can use to make us better and increase our ability to tolerate and deal with the future. Well, Bruce Lee said, don't give me an easy life. Give me the ability to withstand a hard one. Mm-hmm. We don't want to be strong anymore. Yeah. We want the world to be easy. And when I say we, I don't mean myself. I'm not like y'all motherfuckers, but I'm saying it's the fact that I want to be strong enough to endure it. I want to be strong enough to train and raise my children right. I want to be strong enough to, okay, you put me in this situation, I'm out. What you going to do now? Like, handle it. If I got to beat somebody's ass, you do that. If I got to climb a mountain, you do that. And then there's always a day after that, and you just go on about your business.
There is no end. It just continues. But another thing is that you can't have life fatigue. Like, you have to understand that, there's going to be good times, there's going to be hard times, and you have to live through all of them, even though you may not want to. But you have to endure and thrive. Life is not just survive. I'm a survivor. Okay, is that all that you are? Are you a thriver too? Look, man, the crazy thing about it is that people get so used to being a survivor. That's all that they are, that they don't know how to relax. They don't know how to go to some place and just be present. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, you're not running from anything right now. Relax.
Yes, if you want to see an example of that, look at slavery. Look at black folks in America, whether you came from Africa or you were enslaved Aboriginal people. All you did by enslaving us was made us stronger, smarter, faster, better. You made me a physically superior being to you. You created your own demise. Now, also, you come to find out, in Africa, I knew 5 different languages. In Native American, I knew 5 different languages. I'm brilliant. How many times have you seen these brilliant guys, these inventors, these women that were inventors, that came up out of slavery? They came up out of these difficult situations. So by making me sleep in the cold, by starving me to death, you actually made me physically superior. By having me pick these foods that you said were garbage, eating greens and stuff like that, eating these mushrooms, all of a sudden I became more intelligent. Yeah, obviously, people don't want to recognize what came out of a bad situation it was life. We got stronger, and we whooped ass. And they don't want to tell you the stories about you whooping ass because it will inspire you. But that's the truth. We whooped ass. Americans whooped ass. Black folks whooped ass. Motherfuckers came over here from overseas, whooped ass. You had to whoop ass to become something.
Do not fall victim to paralysis by analysis. Life is in the doing. Don't overthink it.
Steady long, steady wrong. Yeah, that's how you play dominoes. You look at the board too long, you're going to get the wrong answer.
Life is in the doing. That's all I got. We out. Peace.
Holla back.